What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Daily Macro Update for Wednesday, October 22nd. Taking a look at some of the headlines here. You know, there always has to be an explanation by the mainstream for the reason why things happen. When in reality, it doesn't really matter what's the catalyst. All that matters is how you're positioned heading into it. And so, you know, you're going to get a lot of reasons out there for stocks coming down today. But part of the reason why things come down is because they go up. And that's pretty much what we've been seeing, a continuation of today, with things like Bitcoin down, gold continuing to be down, some of these other names. S&P 500 could be having the first red candle here in a few days. We talked about this in this morning's daily index ranges, which is our free newsletter that goes out every single morning. And so, yeah, you had a little bit of a dip here. So, I mean, we'll see what ends up happening. I mean, the indexes have been losing a little bit of momentum here. Had a decent sell-off today in Apple as well as Tesla and JP Morgan. We'll see if that continues more from here. But, yeah, JP Morgan doesn't look too hot right now, especially with the financial sector going bearish. It's not really what you want to see when it comes to certain financial stocks there. But yeah, welcome to the Daily Macro Update here. You know, I forget what day we're on in terms of the government shutdown. I think it's like, what, 21? I think it's like the second longest government shutdown in United States history, with the one from 2018 being the longest. So, you know, with that, you don't necessarily need the macro data in order to trade effectively, because again, the way that we use macro data is to confirm specific trends that we are seeing on the charts, right? And what we're continuing to see recently in this recent development is a few things. One is a bullish dollar. So typically things don't like when there's a bullish dollar. We're also seeing a continued decline with new lower lows in 10-year as well as 2-year government bond yields. One of the best performing assets over the past few weeks has been TLT. So that continues to make a higher high. And yeah, clearly in a bullish trend as bond yields are in a bearish trend. And, you know, that should continue so long as we enter into this environment where you're getting a little bit slower growth and slower inflation. Those aren't necessarily great condition sets for risk on assets, right? So that at the same time, you know, we're continuing to see a acceleration in volatility. So we did have a spike briefly above 20, it seems like, but it came right back down. And yeah, I mean, with it still pushing up that way, got to be a little bit cautious here if you guys are trying to look for dip buying opportunities. I wasn't buying any silver, gold miners, silver miners, copper. I did sprinkle a little bit into gold this morning. So I was buying a little bit of gold, but not like going crazy with it. So yeah, started to nitpick at it. But yeah, I mean, Bitcoin, you know, remaining pretty sluggish there. You know, this is on accelerating volume with this sell-off, so not really what you want to see. Sorry, I'm trying not to yawn on camera here. But been trying to wake up earlier, and it's been a little bit of an adjustment for me. But it's all right. We're gonna set the clocks back. I think the clocks are literally getting set back on November 2nd. So trying to take advantage of some healthier habits and getting up early there. But anyway, getting over to some of the things that I'm seeing here in the markets. Yeah, just a continued correction from things that go up. Still bullish trend for gold. S&P 500, Russell, Qs still remain in bullish trend. Hasn't really changed trend at all there. Same thing with a lot of these different top 10 stocks as well as the sectors. Not really seeing too many trend changes. And so, yeah, I was buying some gold there incrementally. And while most people were freaking out, that's part of the reason why we have this process in place so that we can, fade a lot of those narratives and make sure that we have liquidity and dry powder to buy dips. So, yeah, inflation expectations continue to come down while the Fed is, still on track to cut rates in next week. Actually, a week from today. Yeah, a week from today is the Fed meeting. So we'll be live streaming that here on the channel starting at 2:15 p.m. Eastern Time. Typically, we go live at 3:45, but on Fed days, we go live about 15 minutes before Fed Chair Jerome Powell comes on. Or I should say Don Powell, because the Federal Reserve is essentially a banking cartel. It's a legal cartel at the end of the day. So we're gonna be giving nicknames as well to some of these insane people in Washington. Yeah, that's pretty much all I have for you guys. I did make a video today going deep into some of the yield curve signals that we're seeing, and I can cover a little bit of those if you guys want me to. But essentially, the main thing about that was, when taking a look at the yield curve here, we have been doing what's called a bull flattening, which is a huge growth slowing signal. And typically what happens from here is that you could get a steepening effect. And, if that happens to the effect that we saw earlier this year, that could pose some headwinds. It's typically when things are correcting there is when you get a large steepening effect. So we'll see what happens, but the yield curve is definitely signaling that we could be heading into a slowdown here. Not a recession, but a little bit of a growth slowdown, which I'm curious to see how markets react to that. But that's what the yield curve is signaling there. All right, let's go ahead and get into some questions here. AIG asks, what are your thoughts on GLD? Bullish. Gold is still bullish, despite all the craziness out there. Is now a good time to be cash heavy? No, the best time to be cash heavy was a few trading days ago when you had the S&P 500 SPY at the top end of the trading range. So you had two opportunities. You had Monday and yesterday to do that. So now would be a good time to try and look for some places to deploy capital. Hey, what do you think about Q3 earnings for Galaxy Digital and the price action in the last 2 days? I think it's had a pretty large acceleration, right? Yeah, pretty decent volume today. Let me see where it was in the ranges there. It got close to the low end of the range. I'd probably give it another day just to see. But I mean, it's bullish trend. What's up with TikTok? What's up, everyone? A lot of individual names are much worse than the SPY itself. Well, yeah, that's why people buy ETFs, is so they don't have single stock risk exposure, right? So, yes. Appreciate the likes, appreciate the shares. Helps the algorithm there. What are your thoughts about crypto? Stocks have been going up recently, but crypto has been flat. Yeah, bearish on majority of cryptocurrencies, except for like BNB. But yeah, in our model, Bitcoin and altcoins are in a bullish trend. Pretty much the main indicator that I can describe to you is when we pull up a chart of stablecoin dominance. This is stablecoin dominance just made a new high after a series of higher highs and higher lows. So yeah, when you have a breakout in stablecoin dominance, it's not really the time to be trying to pick bottoms in cryptocurrency markets. But it's all right. There's other things that are bullish, so just own some other bullish trends until crypto gets back to bullish trend. It's as easy as that. Doesn't matter. We'll let it get back to us. Let the bullish trends come to you. Don't chase, right? It's like anything. If you try and chase it down, you end up repelling it. You want to attract the gains. Bigsy baby says, "What time frame do you think gold will continue to run until?" I don't know. Whenever people come on my live streams and ask me about time frame as well as price level, I would need a crystal ball in order to accurately answer that question, and I don't have a crystal ball. So all that matters is that if it's currently in a bullish trend, which it is, I am going to continue to buy dips until it goes bearish trend. And again, I don't know when that is. It's currently not bearish trend now. And so that's why I was buying some. But yeah, if you go on any type of other videos and live streams of people who are, talking about the financial markets, and you ask a time frame question or you ask a price prediction question and then they answer it by saying, anything that, well, really anything, one, they're making it up, completely lying, because they don't know. They don't know what the markets are going to do. They're trying to make a prediction. And typically they're making predictions on things that aren't even math based. It's like, oh, well, a lot of this gold is going to funnel right into Bitcoin, because that's typically how it worked in the past. Just look at these two charts. It's like, oh my gosh. I can't believe there's people that have hundreds of thousands of followers who just do that all day. It blows my mind, and there's a lot of people who get hurt by that type of process. Well, it's not even a process; it's just guessing. But yeah, when it comes to that type of question, what I could answer, if you reframe it from now on this way, as well as this goes for anybody else, is that you could say, or you could ask, what condition set would you be looking for? For Bitcoin or for gold to continue its bullish trend? That's a better question. That kind of gives into the timeline aspect, but not really. But for gold to continue its bullish trend, you would need to see the 5-year break-even inflation rates stop going down and get back into that stagflationary type of environment. So who knows also too, a lot of the reason why, gold was kind of a flight to safety was there was a lot of speculation, a lot of chasing, the whole thing with the government shutdown. So who knows? I don't think that will be a trade that lasts very long, but I also don't want to say when it's going to end. But in order for the gold bullish trend to continue, you would want stagflationary signals in the markets, which right now you're getting more of a slowdown signal where growth and inflation are coming down at the same time. Kent, appreciate the suggestion, sir. Kent Swanson, everyone, he's in our macro investing community there, and we appreciate Kent coming on the lives here and recommending the group. Right now we're doing a 6-week challenge, by the way. I'm sure you guys have heard, and I'm repeating myself, but just want to mention that it's for our partnership circle. Essentially, for 6 weeks, you just complete some objectives that we have in there, and at the end, you get a reward. So, yeah, if you want more information on that, you can just go to the link in the description below, or if you're joining on TikTok or Instagram, just go to the link in the bio there. Appreciate it, Ken. Thank you for the kind words, sir. Are you buying the dip in Bitcoin miners? That's a good question. Um, I should have today. I don't like how this happened on higher volume though. So actually, I take that back because this is a pretty high volume day. I probably want to see what happens. I want to see what happens tomorrow, essentially, right? Um, yeah, I mean, one of the things that my team and I don't like to do is like whenever there's a price correction went down to the low end of our trading range. If it's on like super high volume, sometimes, especially with these highly volatile assets like Bitcoin miners and Bitcoin miner ETF here, um, if we have another, couple days of accelerating volume on a sell off there, you don't really want to just go ahead and, buy at the low end of the trading range. You have to remember that our trading ranges update every single day. Once I think it starts or it recalculates after midnight based off of the previous day's price action. And so, yeah, I mean, if you do get prices coming down to the low end of the trading range, I prefer to see it on lower volume or decelerating volume because that would be a bullish divergence. So maybe we'll get another opportunity tomorrow, but that's definitely on the list. Good call out there by Rio's and Rio Zano Daily. I can't read. What are your thoughts on ACHC? Not sure what that is. Acadia. I do like how recently it's been having a series of higher highs and higher lows here. Yeah, I mean, this is something that would definitely be interesting to me. I don't know anything about the company though. Let's see. $2 billion market cap, so kind of a medium cap. Let's see what the volume's doing. Nice little decent acceleration, kind of lower than usual. Yeah, definitely getting some decelerating volume on this price decline. So that's actually some good news. And yeah, I mean, this could be a good level in order to buy some here as it's at a current level of previous resistance. So could go down further. We'll see. But yeah, I like it. I like it, but it has lost some trend strength actually. So if I was to buy it, I'd probably start smaller. RFDL78 says, try the group. It's worth it. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Are macros and technical chart reading used in pump and dump stocks like we saw and beyond? No, not really. Those are just kind of like meme stocks. You know? Yeah, these are like, you know, I don't even pay attention to this. Do you have a Discord? No, we don't. We actually use the platform called Heartbeat, which is kind of like Discord, but it's a lot more professional and it's really made more so for like these types of communities. It's not like built for gaming. So, but yeah, we do. I would just highly recommend you go to our website, macro-optics.com, and you can learn more about us there. Are you buying the dip for SPY or Qs? Not yet. I mean, I'd like to see SPY come down a little bit more closer to the low end of the trading range. We've had a pretty decent drop off in volume here. So again, when it has a bounce on lower volume, that's not like a buy signal to me. So what will probably happen from here is we might see a volume spike with a little bit more of a drawdown. Even then, I probably wouldn't buy it. I'd probably wait for the next day for volume to calm down and then see from there where it lands. But yeah, definitely not buying just yet on these names. Thought you called out ACHC in the community this morning. That might have been from my research partner. Let me see. Possibly. I did not have it on my list. So shame on me if that was true. Nope, I don't see it in the actual. Oh, wait, yeah, you're right. You are correct. Yeah, I didn't have it on the list for some reason. So good catch. Yeah, so let's see here. Yeah, so that's really the thoughts that I have here today. Um, Still seeing net central bank liquidity remain pretty low. You know, that's continuing to be a headwind for risk assets like Bitcoin. So yeah, I mean that's all I pretty much have for you guys here today. But yeah, we'll see what happens tomorrow. Appreciate everyone for joining. As always, if you guys have any comments, you know, make sure to leave a comments on our videos there, and I'm more than happy to answer those myself when I get some time. But appreciate everyone for joining. Have a great rest of your Wednesday here, and I will catch you in tomorrow's daily macro update. Bye, everyone.